A car that cost $2,000 and changed America forever. Not a Ferrari, not a Lamborghini, not some rich man's toy. A car built for a regular 20-year-old kid who just wanted to feel something when he drove. 400,000 sold in the first year alone. No car in history had ever done that. And honestly, no car has done it since. This is the story of the Ford Mustang. And by the end of this video, you will never look at this car the same way again. Let's go back to 1962. America was booming. Young people had money in their pockets for the first time. But the cars Ford was selling? Boring. Safe. Station wagons your grandfather drove to church. Young buyers wanted excitement. Style. A car that said something about who they were. Sports cars like the Corvette existed, but they were expensive. Way out of reach for a regular person. So Ford had a massive gap. Young buyers. Big dreams. And nothing to sell them. That's when one man stepped up. His name was Lee Iacocca. Ford executive. Sharp, ambitious, hungry. His idea was simple. Build a car that looks expensive, but isn't. Sporty. Cool. Something a young person can actually afford. They gave him the project. And what he built changed everything. Here's where it gets smart. Ford didn't build the Mustang from scratch. They used the platform from the Ford Falcon, a car already being built in their factories. This one decision cut the cost dramatically. That's why they could sell it so cheap. The design was led by Joe Orris. The brief was clear: long hood, short rear deck. A car that looks fast even standing still. They went through dozens of concepts, weeks of arguments, and then they landed on it. That iconic shape, the long nose, the wide stance. When leadership first saw the final design, the room went quiet. They knew. The name, Mustang. After the P-51 fighter plane. Wow. American. Free. The price, $2,368. In today's money, roughly $23,000. Launch date, April 17, 1964. World's Fair. New York, April 17, 1964. The reaction was insane. Crowds so large that police had to be called to control them. One dealer in Texas locked his doors because too many people were trying to get in, and let them look through the windows instead. Ford predicted they'd sell 100,000 Mustangs in the first year. They sold 22,000 in the first day. By end of year one, 418,000 Mustangs on American roads. A record that has never been beaten by any new model in history. Ford ran their factories 24 hours a day, 7 days a week just to keep up. Lee Iacocca ended up on the covers of both Time and Newsweek in the same week. A car executive, 2 major covers, same week. That's how big this was. 3 reasons people went crazy for it. First, it looked expensive. Nothing at that price came close. You pulled up in a Mustang and people assumed you spent way more than you did. That feeling alone was worth everything. Second, customization. Ford didn't sell you one Mustang. They sold you a starting point, 6-cylinder for everyday driving, V8 if you wanted power, different trims, colors, options. So many combinations that 2 people could buy the same week and end up with cars that felt completely different. It felt like your car. Third, the marketing. Ford's slogan was, the car you always promise yourself. That line hit different. It wasn't selling horsepower. It was selling a feeling, a promise. A version of yourself you always wanted to be. That kind of marketing was ahead of its time. By 1966 the Mustang was everywhere. Then Hollywood noticed. But the moment that made it truly immortal, 1968. A movie called Bullitt. Steve McQueen. Highland Green 1968 Mustang GT 390 fastback. 10-minute chase scene through San Francisco. No CGI. No tricks. Real car. Real speed. Real danger. McQueen did most of his own driving. That engine sound you hear, that's a real Mustang at full throttle on real streets. After Bullitt, Mustang sales jumped immediately. People didn't just want a Mustang. They wanted that Mustang. The original Bullitt car was lost for decades. Then in 2018, a family in Tennessee revealed they had it. Kept in a barn. It sold at auction in 2020 for $3.7 million. A car that cost $3,000 originally, sold for $3.7 million. That is what a legend does to a machine. ## segment 6, Carroll Shelby and the Beast versions. Carroll Shelby, remember this name, racing driver. Won Le Mans in 1959. Then his doctors told him, heart conditioned, no more racing. So he built race cars for other people instead. Ford gave him one challenge: take the Mustang and make it a real racing machine. 1965, Shelby GT350. 306 horsepower, race-tuned suspension. Upgraded brakes, stripped interior. This wasn't a fast street car, it was a genuine track weapon. Then 1967, the GT500 428 cubic inch engine. Ford officially rated it at 355 horsepower. Here's the secret Ford admitted years later: the real number was closer to 400, maybe more. They listed it lower because insurance companies charged massive rates for high horsepower cars. Ford basically lied on paper to protect buyers from expensive insurance, and nobody was mad about it. The Shelby Mustangs dominated racing, won championships, and a regular person could buy one at a dealership. Same car winning races on weekends, available to anyone who could afford it. That had never been done before. When your competitors have to change their entire plans because of you, you've won. Ford won. GM watched the Mustang's success and panicked. They rushed a competitor. 1967, the Chevrolet Camaro. GM's own executives admitted it was a direct response. Their internal codename for the project was literally Panther, as in, something that could hunt a Mustang. Pontiac launched the Firebird the same year. Dodge eventually came with the Challenger. An entire new category, pony cars, was born because of what Ford did in 1964. Ford didn't just build a successful car, they invented a whole new type of car. And their competitors spent years trying to catch up. Camaro versus Mustang became one of the greatest rivalries in automotive history. People still argue about it today. But the truth Chevy fans don't love: the Camaro only exists because the Mustang existed first. Let's just talk numbers, because they're unbelievable. First year, 418,000 units sold. By end of 1966, 1 million Mustangs. In less than 2.5 years. Full first generation, 1964 to 1973, over 3 million produced. First 2 years alone, over $1 billion in profit for Ford. In 1960s money, that's roughly 8 to 9 billion today. Now the collector values. A clean original 1964 Mustang today, $30,000 to $150,000. A Shelby GT350 from 1965, $300,000 to $500,000. A Shelby GT500 from 1967, similar. Sometimes more at auction. People who bought these in the 60s for a few $1,000s, their grandchildren are sitting on fortunes today. Here's the real lesson of the Mustang. It proved you don't need to be wealthy to have something great. Ford built it specifically for people without unlimited money. It proved emotion sells more than specs. The Mustang wasn't always the fastest or most powerful, but it made people feel something. And that was worth more than any number on a spec sheet. It proved one idea, executed well, can reshape an entire industry. The Mustang is still being made today. 60 years later, same name, same spirit. How many things created in 1964 are still relevant, still selling, still making people stop and stare? Almost none. The Mustang is one of them. Next time you see a Mustang, old or new, remember this story. It started as a gap in the market. It became a record, a legend, a Hollywood icon, a racing champion, and a cultural symbol that defined a generation. All from a $2,000 car. Subscribe to the channel, we tell stories exactly like this every week. Real history, real numbers, real impact, buttons right there. And drop a comment, which Mustang is your favorite? The 1964 original, the Shelby GT500, or the modern version? I rate every single one.